Greetings of the day to all. I am Shikha Kansal and will be discussing about theorems of probability, conditional probability and Bayes theorem in this PPT. What is Bayes theorem? What is conditional probability? When to apply conditional probability are the important things which we will be discussing in this PowerPoint presentation. Conditional probability. Events which are dependent are supposed to be handled with conditional probability. The events which were independent, as we have talked, they were supposed to be solved by the help of multiplication theorem. But what if the events which we are talking about, they are dependent, then which theorem to apply is conditional probability. The events A and B are said to be dependent when B occurs only when A is known to have occurred, or vice versa. What happens here is, event B, A and B are said to be dependent, that means they are depending upon the other. One will occur only when the other has occurred or the other is known to have occurred. This is called as a dependent event. These are called as a dependent event. A conditional probability measures the probability of an event given that, or we assume, or we presume, or we have the evidence that another event has already occurred, or we have assumed that it will occur. So, there we apply a conditional probability. If the event is of my interest, if the event is A and B is known, the event B is known, but I want to find out what is the chances of occurrence of event A and event B, they both are dependent upon each other. The probability attached with this kind of event is called as a conditional probability and is denoted by probability of event A when B is known to have occurred, or I have assumed it to be occurred, or I have some evidence that it has been occurred. So, probability of A I want to find out when I know that probability of B has already been occurred. So, what I want to find out is always kept in the numerator of the fraction, and what I already know is kept in the denominator of the fraction when we are talking about conditional probability. If two events A and B are dependent, then the conditional probability of A given B is given as probability of A when B is known. I told you what I want to find out is always kept in the numerator, and what I already know is kept in the denominator. So, probability of A intersection probability of B, there is something common in both which is kept in the numerator. Probability of A, some intersection part which is probability of A intersection probability of B. This is the intersection part and divided by probability of B which is known to me. In the same manner, if there are two events A and B in which I want to find out the probability of B given the probability of A, then I have probability of B which I want to find out in numerator, whereas probability of A which I already know is kept in the denominator. Thus, probability of A intersection of probability of B. Thus, probability of A B, this is known as probability of B given A has already occurred. According to this formula, probability of A B is probability of B, probability of A given that B has already occurred. Probability of A intersection B is something common in both, occurrence of both the events. Probability of A is P A and probability of event B is P B. For example, a bag contains 5 white balls, 3 black balls, 2 balls are supposed to be drawn at a random without replacement. That means, if I have drawn one ball, that ball is not replaced. If for example, a bag has 10 balls and I have drawn one ball, that means now the bag has 9 balls because I am not replacing it. If I replace it, that means the bag again contains 10 balls, but now what happens here? The question says without replacement, find the probability that both the balls drawn are black. Thus, how many white balls we have? White is PW, or we can say PB, and drawing black balls is PA. Therefore, probability of drawing black ball is, the number of black balls which we have in the bag is 3, and the total number of balls we have 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. Thus, the probability of finding out taking out the black ball in the first chance is probability of A, which is equal to 3 over 8, that is in the first attempt. This is the first attempt, but what happens in the second attempt? Second attempt, the number of balls, because the questions ask about without replacement, therefore, in the second attempt the number of balls in the bag minimizes, lessens to 1, that means it becomes 7, and probability of drawing ball black, when we know number of white also there in the bag, so it becomes 2, because 1 has already drawn in the first attempt, it becomes a 2 divided by total number of balls is equal to 7. So, 2 divided by 7. Therefore, the probability of both the balls drawn is equal to black is given by, now we apply this conditional probability here, where we apply this formula, and which says probability of AB is equal to probability of A into probability of B, this probability of A when B is already known to us. Therefore, probability of A is 3 over 8 multiplied by probability of B over A is equal to 2 over 7. When we multiply them both, we get 3 over 28. So, this is the probability. This is the probability of getting a black ball without replacement. You can leave the question here it is as it is, or you can find out the answer in decimals as well. The answer for probability is maximum, it goes from 0 to 1, the highest probability is 1, the minimum probability is point something, but 0 is the probability when the event is not to occur, is called as 0 probability. Thus, here we can see the numerator is small and the denominator is big. So, obviously, we will get somewhere 0 point something. So, the probability is, there is a probability of getting black ball in both the cases, but the probability is very less. Question number 2, it talks about find the probability of drawing a queen, a king and a knave in that order from the pack of card in 3 consecutive draws, the card drawn not to be replaced. Again, the question is without replacement. The cards keeps on going down, number of cards keeps on diminishing by 1. So, the probability of drawing a queen, a king and a knave in this order only. First attempt has to be queen, the second attempt has to be king and the third attempt has to be a knave. So, number of queens we have in pack of 52 card is 4. So, probability of queen is equal to number of queens there in the pack of 52 card is 4 divided by total number of card is 52. But in the second attempt we have already taken out one card, the second attempt gives you number of cards is equal to 51. The number of kings in a pack of 52 card is 4, but the number of cards, total number of cards have reduced to 1, reduced by 1. So, it becomes 51. So, 4 over 51, and the probability of drawing a knave, number of knaves we have in the pack of 52 cards are 4, but since we have already drawn 2 cards, now the number of cards have diminished by 2 and the number of cards becomes 50. So, 4 over 52 4 over 51 for king, queen, and for knave we have probability of a knave is equal to 4 over 50. Since all are dependent events, and they are depending upon one another because we are supposed to draw them one after the other. Therefore, what we will do, we will apply the conditional probability and we will multiply all of them and we will have 4 over 52 multiplied by 4 over 51 multiplied by 4 over 50, and this gives out to be 0.00048. That means the probability of getting this kind of cards, this kind of, in every attempt, in first attempt if I get a queen, the second attempt gives a king, and third attempt gives a knave, the possibility of getting this kind of combination is very less. So, the probability is very small that we get this kind of combination here. Now, this conditional probability, when we revise it, this conditional probability, when we just go through, and this probability cannot be applied everywhere. So, the next version of conditional probability, when we have revised it, it is called as a Bayes theorem. What is a Bayes theorem, and from where this Bayes theorem has come out is basically we are going to study now here. Since the World War II, a considerable body of knowledge has devised or developed known as a Bayesian decision theorem, whose purpose is to find out the solutions of the problem involving decision making under uncertainties. It is named after a British mathematician in 1702. The conditional probability concept can be extended to revise the probability based on new informations and to determine the probability that particular effect was due to some specific causes. Then what happens is we are supposed to revise the conditional probability and supposed to apply a new version of conditional probability, which is called as a Bayes theorem. With the new things, with the new outcomes, with the new specific causes, when we apply the conditional probability, then it becomes a Bayes theorem. How it becomes a Bayes theorem, how to use the Bayes theorem is just see here. Bayes theorem is when you have certain theory with you already, then you apply Bayes theorem. When you have observed some evidence, that means I have A, probability of A, I want to find out, probability of B is already known. The place where I want to put Bayes theorem is something I want to find out from something which I know is called as a Bayes theorem. That means probability when I know the hypothesis which I want to find, given that there are particular few evidences, there are particular few proofs, there are particular few confirmation about those hypotheses, then I apply my Bayes theorem. For example, here if I have a Bayes theorem based on a formula of conditional probability, if I have a set say A1, A2, where A1 and A2 they are just common, this is the union of both A1 and A2, they are the set of events which are mutually exclusive, the two events cannot occur together. That means this is event A1 and this is event A2 and they are exhaustive, where A and B, if I club them, this A B is equal and this A B is equal. Thus, A1 intersection B is this common part, this common part is A1 intersection B and this common part becomes A2 intersection B. Fine. So, what happens? The probability of A1 given B, the probability of A2, the probability of A1 given B, we are supposed to find out putting the formula probability of A1 intersection B, that means this part. That means this part I put it onto the formula probability of A1 intersection B whole over probability of B, which was already known to me. This becomes my Bayes theorem. When I want to find out A1 and I already know B, this is a revised version of your conditional probability, because conditional probability was not applied in this kind of events when we have different, when we have sets of the events to come. The probability of event A2 in the similar manner is given by when I want to find out the probability of A2 to occur and the event B I know, probability of A2 intersection B and probability of B is already known. But what if you have n number of A1, A2, A3, A4 which are mutually exhaustive and collective and which are mutually exclusive and exhaustive together, then just apply this summation here, probability of B over A1 to probability of A1, because probability of A1 is something which I want to find out when my probability of B is already given to me. just put in the formula where my summation, it belongs to, it rises from I is equal to 1 to k, n number of I we have here. I we have already specified probability of B over A1 into probability of A1. See here how to apply the formula in the question. Now, conditional probability, there are three things which you are supposed to study. One is called as a prior probability, one is posterior probability, and the third is revised probability. This prior probability is nothing but prior probability is when we study something which is determined before, something, the information which is taken into account before doing the study, that is called as a prior probability. The probability before revision by Bayes theorem, Bayes rule are called as a prior or simply prior probability, because they are determined before the sample information have taken into account. The thing which is being told, which is being asked, which is being gathered before the proper before doing the proper probability question, or before getting into the question thing, this is called as a prior probability. Now, the probability which undergoes revision in light of a sample information is called as a posterior probability. When you study it further, when you study it again and again, taking into account the light in the information which you have, that is called as a posterior probability. Now, this posterior probability is also called as a revised probability, because you are just revising it again and again, because they are obtained by revising the prior probability in the light of additional information which you have just got, when after doing the certain experiment. So, it is called as a revised probability as well. For example, in a particular pain clinic, there are 10 patients which are prescribed narcotic painkillers. Overall, 5% of the clinic patients are addicted to the narcotics, including painkiller and illegal substances. Out of all people prescribed painkiller, 8% are addicted. If the patient is addicted, what is the probability that they will be prescribed painkillers or pain pills? This is one question which we will be solving by the help of Bayes theorem, as to how to put different variables, different percentages, different numbers which are given in the question, and how to find out what is the probability that the patient which is prescribed is a pain pill, what is the probability that they will be prescribed pain pills if the patient is an addict. This is the condition which is attached with it. How to solve, how to go about this question is, we are supposed to just assume that being prescribed painkiller, that first thing, there are 10% patients which are prescribed in a particular pain clinic. First, you are supposed to just assume, just suppose there is 10% of patients which are prescribed narcotic painkillers. So, this is 10%, which is equal to 0.1. Probability of B is overall 5%, that means 5% of the clinic patients are addicted to narcotics. That means this becomes my probability B. That means being addicted is 5%, but they are saying out of all people prescribed pain pills, 8% are addicted. That means two things are being collectively taken, that they are prescribed painkillers also, pain pills also, and they are addicted. So, this is my probability of B when A is known to me, that is prescribed pain pills plus they are addicted are 8% people. Fine. Now, what happens is, my probability which I am supposed to find out is, they are saying in the question, patient is addicted, the patient is addicted, that means B. What is the probability that it is prescribed painkillers? That means what I am supposed to find out? I am supposed to find out the probability of A over B. Thus, probability of A over B. That means what I am supposed to do is probability of PBA into probability of A whole over probability of B. Just put the values into the formula and we have 16%. Thus, the probability that the patient will be prescribed the pain pills if the patient is addicted is only 16% out of 100%. This is how we solve the question. Just go line by line and we will have the meaning of those lines and just put it into the formula. What is the next question saying here? The next question says that imagine there are 100 people in the party, find the probability that the person wearing pink is a man. If there are 100 people in the party, a man who is wearing pink is 5, a man who is not wearing pink is 35. This is the number of man who are wearing pink according to the question is 5 and the man who are not wearing pink is 35. Total number of men present in the party is 40. The people who are not man might be females, might be kids, might be old. The people, old females, they are not man, wearing pink is 20 and the people who are not man and not wearing pink is 40. So, the total not man people are in the party are is equal to 60, but if we total this 40 plus 60 we have 100 people here. Along with this, the people who are wearing pink is 25 and the people who are not wearing pink is 75. In total, we have 100 people at the party. The question says you are supposed to find out the probability that the person wearing pink is a man. So, probability that being a man is equal to how many people are man in the party is 40 divided by 100. There are 40 people who are man in the party. So, the probability of being a man in the party is 40 divided by 100 in the same manner, which is equal to 0.4. The probability that it is wearing pink is equal to total number of people wearing pink is 25. So, it is 25 out of 100 people are wearing pink, which is equal to 0.25, and the probability of man wearing pink is equal to 5 out of 40, because there are 5 people out of 40 people being man who are wearing pink. So, it becomes 45 divided by 40, which is equal to 0.125. Therefore, the question asks the probability of person wearing pink is a man. If I am assuming a man to be a man, so I am supposed to find out probability of person wearing pink is a man. So, pink over man. So, pink is already known to me. I am supposed to find out whether the person wearing pink is a man or not. Just put in the formula probability of man wearing pink is a man is equal to probability of a man, that is equal to 0.4. Probability of a man wearing pink is equal to 0.125. Probability of being pink is 0.25 in the party. Put all them in the formula and the probability of person wearing pink is equal to 0.2. That means, if I convert it into percentage, it comes out to be 20%. Therefore, this kind of question, when there are other things as well as to consider, then we apply Bayes theorem. This is how we apply conditional probability Bayes theorem probability formula when we have 2 or more dependent events. But what happens when the events are not dependent? We apply only the conditional probability, or we apply only the multiplication theorem. So, let us revise as to what we have studied till now in conditional and probability and Bayes theorem. The this conditional probability is used when there are 2 or more events which are dependent upon one another. How they could be dependent? They could be dependent by the help of the events, by the help of some instance, or they might be dependent upon when we choose a ball, we are not replacing them. So, they depends upon one another. The occurrence of one leads to the occurrence of other as well. So, there in that kind of events we apply conditional probability, and conditional probability is the measure, it measures the probability of an event given that something else regarding that event has already occurred in the past. It could be assumed, it could be presumed, or it could be an evidence from the past that something related to that event has already occurred. So, there in those places we apply conditional probability. Otherwise, when we have independent events, one is dependent events which depend on one another due to some instances or due to some evidence, but there are events which are independent events. There we apply multiplication theorem and we multiply the occurrence of both the events. But here in conditional probability we talk about the events which are depending upon one another. The occurrence of one leads to the occurrence of another. A simple formula which we are supposed to denote for the conditional probability is probability of B, which we already know, but I am more interested in finding out the probability of A. So, probability of A I want to find out, and probability of B has already given to me. So, probability of A when B is known is written as probability of A over B. Therefore, probability of B whole over A, the denominator always talks about what is known to me and the numerator always talks about what I am supposed to find out. So, probability of B over A is probability of A, which is something in common with probability of B. That means, this is intersection, something in common, something which we are sharing, something the event A and something event B, they both are sharing. That is why they are being called as dependent events. When the probability of A has already been known is called as conditional probability. In the same manner, the same formula can be applied for when we are more interested in finding out the probability of A when the probability of B is known. The same formula can be applied to other events as well, and basically the major thing which we are supposed to keep in mind is conditional probability is applied when, only when the events which are supposed to occur or which are happening, they are dependent upon the other. The occurrence of one leads to the occurrence of another as well. So, that place we apply only the conditional probability and not the multiplication theorem. This is the most important thing which is supposed to be kept in mind while talking about conditional probability. The revision of conditional probability, when we add on more things here, this becomes a Bayes theorem. This becomes a Bayes theorem when we know the hypothesis, that means we know the theory, we know the superpositions by the help of events which have already occurred in past, by the help of proofs, by the help of confirmation which are already happened in the past, then we apply the Bayes theorem. Bayes theorem is nothing but a revision of our conditional probability, and it leads to many different results which leads to much better probability results. So, what happens is conditional probability is when we have, for example, if we have a sample and that sample is A1, this is B, this is A2. Now, A1 and A2 are two mutually exclusive events, that means they cannot occur together, but A and B, A1 and B and A2 and B are giving us some common part. That means, some part which is common in both is called as an intersection part, as I have already told you. So, A1 intersection B is the part which is within B, which is within A1, representing the area of A1 and B. In the same manner, the area which is in common between A2 and B is the area which is common for A2 and as well as for B as well. So, now I want to find out the probability of finding out A1 when this whole part B, this whole circle is known to me. I just want to find out A1. So, what is my probability of finding out A1 is probability of A1 which is being intersecting at B, the probability of A1 which is intersecting with B, that means this part, along with the probability of B in total, that is probability of B in total. This becomes my conditional probability to find out event A1. So, for example, if this is whole circle and it is of 100%, 100 and this is only 50, this is also 50. So, something in common is 50, something in common intersection part is 50 divided by 100, which is equal to 1 over 2, which is equal to 50%. by the calculation we are getting 50%, that is half, and by just seeing the diagram also we are getting just the half. So, the probability of the value of A1 occurring along with B2, or we can say the probability of finding out A1 from B is equal to half. In the same manner, if we want to find out the probability of occurrence of A2 when B is known to me is nothing but probability of A2 intersecting with B, that is equal to, as I have told you, this is the 50%. We are assuming to just solve the question, it is equal to 50%. So, 50 divided by, since this whole part is B, so I am writing down this as 100, which is equal to 1 over 2, which is equal to 50%. So, the probability of A2 when B is known is also half, that is 50%. Probability of A1 when B is known, because we know that A1 and B are occurring simultaneously, they have some relationship between one another, they are dependent upon one another. So, in case when we are supposed to find out the dependence relationship between the two variables, between three variables, we are supposed to apply conditional theorem. Along with that, we can apply the revised form of conditional theorem, that is called as a Bayes theorem, applying the formula which we have just studied.